Going to be quite a challenge for Oklahoma on the defensive side of the ball, replacing this guy.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. The Oklahoma Sooners are going to have a difficult time replacing Danny Stutsman, Jay. As much as we like the linebacker room, we like Kobe McKenzie, we like Kip Lewis, we like Lewis Carter and Samuel Omasigo and James Nesta and Tristan Haynes, Marcus James. We like these guys. They're going to be productive linebackers for Oklahoma. There's only one Danny Stutsman.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, man. And we had the awards that came down the line, so you saw a bunch of big deals show up. SEC, all SEC first team. Danny Stutsman made it. One of the best linebackers in the country. I mean, CBS also had their All-American teams, and guess who also was on the first team? You guessed it, Danny Stutsman. And I actually think that he's probably going to make the AP All-American one. He's going to make the PFF All-American one. He was actually on the PFF All-American first team. He's going to be on the Athletics All-American. The dude's a first-team All-American. He is LB1, and he will be drafted first in the NFL draft in the first round as a linebacker. Because why? He's Danny flipping Stutsman. Everybody knows how good he is. He's just that freaking amazing. And you're right, John. It saddens me that Brent Venables and Zach Alley's going to have to figure out how to find another guy to be this type of leader. But I'm going to be honest. I think we've got it. I think we've got some that I think that the linebackers we have that will have to come in and be the next leader that Danny Stutsman was will not be the strong run stopper like Danny. But I think they'll be a little bit better of a pass type player. That's my guy, Kip Lewis. I mean, Kip out here with 2 pick sixes this season. He owns the state of Alabama, John. That is his territory. He staked his claim. He has planted his flag. Now, that may be a felony in Alabama. Is it Alabama or Ohio? It's Ohio. It's going to be a felony, but that's neither here nor there. Alabama understands that he can place that in their state because that is what he owns. So, yes. Danny going to the draft, man, it's bittersweet. You want to see him go be amazing in the NFL, but it's so sad to see him have to go and have to find someone else to be that new heart and soul. So I guess we'll have to ask ourselves soon, who do we feel like will be that replacement?
Well, you're going to see a lot of Kobe McKenzie. You're going to see a lot of Kip Lewis. Lewis Carter, I mean, he only played 95 snaps this year, but he finished as Pro Football Focus's 8th highest graded linebacker in the SEC. Now, Again, really, really small sample size. You can't really take a whole lot away from it, but still, they liked what they saw. Samuel Omasigo was 19th among linebackers in the SEC with his, 277 snaps. I think they started kind of getting the ground going, getting laying the groundwork for Stutzman's departure by trying to get Kobe McKenzie playing more, Kip Lewis playing more. Those guys didn't play a ton as true freshmen. Jaren Cannon got more opportunities in 2022, but then you saw Kip Lewis start to emerge in 2023. You saw Kobe McKenzie start to emerge as well. And then this year, they both played a ton in those rotational roles. And it wouldn't surprise me to see Jaren Cannon get more opportunities and more snaps. In the SEC all-conference teams, over on the second team, one R. Mason Thomas. Boo, man, my man, R. Mason Thomas. Been pushing the R. Mason Thomas hype train, tooting that horn for years. Glad to finally see my man healthy and producing.
Yeah, we talked about that too. It was one of those he was one of the players that we expected to be a breakout this season. And sure enough, he decided to break out, and that man was terrorizing everybody. Every time you looked up, he was putting helmet in somebody's chest in the second half. Now we just need him to do that in the first half too, but it doesn't matter. We're not gonna fault him for it. We're happy that he showed up. It doesn't matter when. He comes through on a regular basis, especially closing out games. He's fantastic at closing them out, hitting those hits. Because, I mean, John, now that I think about it, how many games did R. Mason Thomas close it out with a hit on the quarterback to end it? You had the Tulane game where he had like 3 sacks in a row and he caused the fumble and recovered it. Houston, I believe he got one of the final sacks in that game. Alabama, he had the hit that forced the interception that Woody Washington got. And then we had the 6-minute drive that ended the game. Auburn, he got a sack in Auburn too, didn't he?
Yeah, and I want to say he affected Peyton Thorne on the Kip Lewis pick 6. I think
he did get the pressure.
He got the pressure there that made him try to get rid of the ball quick and throw it right into Kip Lewis's chest. No, the dude is an effective pass rusher, and I get some of the criticism out there about the first half stuff. At the same time, this is when you need your elite pass rushers to take over. When it is an obvious passing situation, that's when you see those guys really break out. Early in games, when it's a neutral game script and teams can still run the ball, he has to play his responsibilities. Yes. He has to be responsible for playing the run too. And so while, we want to see him show up more in the first half and the third quarter and show up more on third downs, well, a lot of times those were more third and manageables where, hey, you still got to be aware of the run. And what am I seeing out of R. Mason Thomas? I'm seeing a disciplined player continue to maintain his responsibilities, even though he wants to go get them sacks. And he's got 9 of them this year. Great year. Great year for R. Mason Thomas.
Amazing year. And it's terrifying at the fact that there's a possibility he can end up going to the NFL. But if he decides to make a return, let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'm not ready to envision a world where R. Mason is not an Oklahoma Sooner. I'm not ready. I'm not there yet.
Nope, me either. Go ahead and come back. Then we can get Dominic to return with you.
One more year.
You get Dom, right? Our Robert Spears Jennings together, and just start to build this elite defense again. Just keep all these guys, bring them all back. Elite defense. But no, shout out to R. Mason Thomas. Getting on the second team is just amazing to see.
Yeah, Billy Bowman earns a third team selection as well as Ben Anderson. Billy Bowman, he didn't have as many interceptions as he did a year ago. People just weren't going to try him because Billy Bowman will pick you off if you're not careful. But I thought he had a solid season. Was it as good as maybe everybody would have liked it to be? No, but I thought he was still a good player for Oklahoma this year.
Yeah, because Billy was doing a great job of getting some big hits this season. Instead of him getting a whole bunch of big interceptions, he just got big hits. Mm-hmm. And that big hit against Missouri, especially just the way that he beelined and got the perfect angle to get the big hit. Oh, I just wish we would have just closed that game out and won it. Yeah, it'd be 7-5 instead of 6-6. But I digress. It happens to Anyway. Billy has had a solid season to even be able to be a third team SEC All-American. He definitely stood out. He was critical. He didn't get the pick sixes like you said, and we would love to have more Billy Bowman pick sixes, but it feels like it was traded off to R. Mason Thomas and Kip Lewis, and Kip Lewis took over it instead, which can't complain about that.
Yeah, and Billy Bowman did recover 2 fumbles, so it wasn't like he was completely lacking in the turnover department. Had 2 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries, and one of those was huge. He had the fumble recovery against Missouri that he returned for a touchdown that gave you an opportunity to win that game. Just a shame the defense gave it right back. Ben Anderson, long snapper, also made the SEC all-conference third team. And here's what I'll say about a long snapper. If you don't know who the dude is, he's doing a great job. But Ben Anderson has proven to be one of the most consistent and capable long snappers in college football. And he's going to have an opportunity to make himself a lot of money at the NFL level, continuing to be a long snapper. If you're not sure if your kid's big enough, fast enough, strong enough to play NFL football or college football, start teaching them how to long snap. It's a very valuable skill, and Ben Anderson has mastered it. All right. Hey, we got a schedule for 2025. We knew who the teams were. Now we know when we're going to be playing them. Let's discuss that coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.